To another edition of Business Ethics Hard Truths, and I will be talking about the future of business ethics the way I see it, or at least the way it is unfolding at the moment. Well, technically speaking, there are lots of small trends, but I would like to single out some major trends for us to watch out for and what they have in store for business ethics. Well, we can see that compliance is being fully integrated with the legal department and actually is becoming more of an extension of the legal department in any company, just because it's easier to roll in, the law, compliance, and business ethics. And, with compliance being half automated and with various solutions available out there, it becomes easier for any lawyer within the legal department to manage compliance issues. The only remaining thing is business ethics, because it's difficult to package, because any lawyer would wrangle with the concept of law over ethics, and in the end it's easy to understand which one he will choose, just because that's the law, what he has studied, and how he is going to make a living. So therefore, the future is bleak from that perspective. But then, outside of this, there's a larger narrative of business ethics being part of various ongoing political elements. So it's definitely has been absorbed into a large part of the leftist narrative. So therefore, it's easy to understand why issues of diversity and inclusion seem to dominate headlines in many media covering compliance and ethics. And therefore, with the new concept of ESG coming on board and the carbon footprint and all that jazz, it's easy to understand that business ethics will be heavily utilized to promote that agenda. And another component, which is actually more like on the wane right now, it's fizzling out, it's those ethicists who chose to use a science-based approach to business ethics. Hardly enlightening and motivating, but they chose to dig deep into the business ethics and ethics overall, to maybe dig up some truths there, but in the process of doing so, they have lost their audience. So we look at all of this and we don't see much happening to further promote business ethics as it is. Plus, if you look at things that used to feed the interest to the business ethics, such as this appetite for organizational justice. Now it's been firmly occupied by the ongoing narrative, and you can see it being so ideological, and such a heavy, left tilt there. So it's almost gone. It's been misappropriated and assimilated by other elements outside of the business ethics. So therefore, there's nothing left there, just bare bones. And it's very difficult for employees when they look at it and they think, okay, well, there is no senior management buy-in. I mean, they're told to do this, but they are not inspired. And then all other things we liked in business ethics being the soft tool, sort of like at least a premise or at least a promise of employees to push back against mid-management or senior management on their ethical fading. Now it has also fizzled out. So employees are left with very little to play with around the topic of business ethics. Plus, you also have to understand that lots of other developments, could remind us of, you should not confuse religion with faith, because they're very different. But look at what happened to them. Same thing here. Compliance is being used in so many subtle ways. Well, like it all started with, the books and the files that were fed right into the DOJ to prosecute companies. Do you think that they did all the heavy lifting? Well, I kind of doubt it. So you've got an army of lawyers who can always exonerate themselves by turning the files over to regulators. Secondly, we'll look at the generation of compliance professionals who seem to be leaning towards the regulators, attending the FBI-sponsored, DOJ-sponsored events, and seem more like good scouts. And don't forget that whistleblowers are also there for a reason, because they can always report things outside of the company, collect the bonus, and basically could create quite a headache for any company. So all of this seem to be developing a bit outside of business ethics, and I cannot actually see any ethical component there. So with the general ethical fading that we see among our political leaders, experts, professionals, what have you, even peers, so very little could be done about stopping and preventing this tendency to swipe everything off the chessboard, so that very little is left for the corporate culture, for the corporate element to be based upon. So the business ethics as it is may evolve to be just like a ticking the box, just being on the list of lots of other things that need to be done, could be pursued, could be left alone, but it's definitely one of those soft laws that have been wrested out of the hands of employees, and therefore robbing them of a chance to keep their own management in check by talking about ethics, or at least looking for ways to incorporate and embed the communication of business ethics in I'm not talking about the daily ritual, but at least like a monthly or a weekly send out or a newsletter within the company. So having said that, while the future for business ethics does look bleak, and what I'm doing about it, well, you can always watch my videos in the folder called T-Bay. Well, stay tuned for more.